Hey, my buddy Josh Klein at Honor Foundation asked me to do a short video based on something that is important to me as an entrepreneur, and something that like transitioning veterans would probably find useful. So I know for me, one of the biggest obstacles I find when I talk to people that are either veterans or other people that are highly motivated is what happens is they end up, I like to equate it to cars, obviously, because I like cars. So they have a ton of motivation and drive. So they have these huge engines, and they want to just keep feeding motivation and gasoline into the engines. But what ends up happening, they have really high horsepower, and they're sitting in the parking lot and revving their engine, but a lot of times they're not even in first gear yet. Or even if they're in first gear, they're moving, but they're not really gaining the traction that they want. They're just kind of sitting there and spinning tires. So the concept that I like to relate it to is basically efficiency, but what I refer to it as is gaining traction. So you can have the highest horsepower engine you want, but if you can't put that power to the ground, you're not going to make forward momentum. You're not going to start moving forward. And the key is obviously to start moving forward, to take your plan, whether it's a business plan or life plan or whatever it is. There's 2 points, where you're at and where you want to go, and start moving forward with those 2 points. So the key to that is being efficient with your time and your time management. And so what I like to do is place a value on your hourly rate, or give yourself an hourly rate. So for instance, like if you have, say, $1 million company, value your time at whatever, let's say $100 an hour. So that means you're the captain of the ship, right? You are trying to move the ship forward. You're trying to drive this car, drive this vehicle. You're trying to move forward. So if you find yourself doing a job that's worth less than $100 an hour, try to outsource that, whether that's through finding a company that can do that service or finding a person that can do that service that you're doing. And a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we end up with that mindset of we're so driven that we end up doing everything ourselves. And that's cool when you're on the ground floor and you're starting up, but once you reach a point of saturation with your time, there's just not enough hours in the day to do everything that needs doing. So you have to prioritize, and a good way to prioritize it is through that monetary system. You just have a value placed on your hourly rate, and then whatever's below that, try to find somebody that will do that job with varying levels of oversight on your part, that will do that job for a lesser amount, and that'll free up your time to get out of the weeds, so to speak, and start looking up. Like if you're the CEO or the president of a company, you are the captain of the ship. You should be steering the wheel, directing the sails. You shouldn't be down there swabbing the decks doing that stuff. That's like $10, $12, $15 an hour type stuff. You should be driving the brand forward, deciding where to go, making big decisions, the overall structure of the company and the direction you want it to go. If you find yourself getting involved in the small stuff, find a way to outsource it, because otherwise you're going to end up spending so much time doing that stuff that you're never going to gain any traction, and eventually that engine that you're burning gasoline, you're going to run out of gas, you're going to run out of motivation, and then you'll just throw in the towel. I mean, maybe you won't, but statistically that's a lot of people do. That's why a lot of startups fail, is because people they don't see results and they lose motivation. On that, most businesses take about 2 to 3 years before they make enough money where you can actually live off them. They can be profitable from the start, but a lot of times they're not the money-making machines that you might initially think they will be. That doesn't mean you're doing a bad job. It just means that that's a normal progression of a business. So don't get down on yourself if you're not a millionaire after a year or two. It takes some time, but you can get there faster by streamlining your financial processes, and a big part of that is your time management, how much time you spend on these particular tasks. Because I know you guys heard the saying that time is money, but in business it literally is money. You're paying people hourly, you're paying people for a certain task or a certain result. So keep that in mind when you're going through your day, is ask yourself, is what I'm doing worth $100 an hour, or whatever rate you set for yourself? And is what I'm doing moving my company forward? If the answer is yes, then keep doing it. Don't outsource it. That's part of your brand. If the answer is no, then you stop doing it, cut it out completely, or outsource it to another person or a company that will do it more efficiently for you. And in the long run, you might pay a little bit out of pocket, but in the long run, you'll be net positive over the whole outcome of the situation. Anyway, thanks, Josh. I appreciate the call out, and I hope that's helped some people, whether you're a veteran or a non-veteran. Just if you're involved in business, those are just, like I say, everything is numbers. So hopefully that helps some of you guys, and yeah, keep moving forward, get some traction.